Major Paul Mitchell says Tarbox broke into the home, ate the homeowner's food, and took a shower, then dressed in the homeowner's clothes, sat down and watched TV. That's when the homeowner walked in.
He had his small child outside, and he just wanted the intruder to go away.
Tarbox claimed he thought it was a friend's house and then asked the victim for a ride to Hollis. The homeowner complied. Police eventually arrested Tarbox and say he'd gone on quite a crime spree, allegedly stealing 2 cars prior to going into that Waterboro home.
More than 500 migrants have been released by U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement at locations in Texas and New Mexico. That raises the number let go this week to more than 1,000. Another 500 could be released today. Gary Nunn, CBS News.
3, 2,
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Twin brothers perished in a house fire. Walker County Coroner Dwayne Wilson confirmed the 24-year-olds were found inside the smoldering home yesterday afternoon on Dry Valley Road. Walker County spokesman Joe Legge told the press that the house was already 30% consumed when firefighters arrived on scene. Cause of the fire under investigation. Chattanooga police are trying to track down a man they say may have info on a local homicide. The Chattanooga Police Department posted a picture of him from a gas station surveillance camera. No name was provided, but they say he may know about a local murder. Investigators say a revolver found at the intersection of Wimberley Street and Bonnie Oaks may be the murder weapon used to kill 20-year-old Kevin Daniel on Christmas Day. A suspect, 28-year-old Gregory Martin, was arrested the day after the slaying. Police say it may have been a drive-by after a domestic argument. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
I went whitewater rafting a few years back, and man, it was fun. This is Bruce Dodd with People's Home Equity, a mortgage company right here in Chattanooga. The water was up that day, and the rapids were pretty challenging. Our guide had traveled the river hundreds of times before and knew exactly where to go and how to approach each rapid. I learned that it's important to know when to paddle, when to coast, and the communication is vital. The mortgage world has become a lot like a whitewater trip. We do mortgages all day, every day. Your mortgage is our priority. If you're looking to move this year, then get the pre-qualification process started with professionals who can help you navigate the mortgage industry. We know when to paddle and when to coast. If you're ready to move, call us at People's Home Equity, 423-591-9801.
People's Home Equity is still closing loans in less than 30 days. Call them now to get pre-qualified. 423-591-9801. 423-591-9801. Call for more details. Terms and conditions may apply. This is not a commitment to lend. NMLS number 66247. Tennessee number 117278136. Georgia number 16020. Georgia Residential Mortgage Licensee. Equal housing lender.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
People know me.
92.7
Didn't get to sleep that night till the morning came around.
People, that's all serious. It is called Songs of Your Own, which is a lyric from a Great Dead song. And I believe this is, what are they called?
Friend of the Dead.
It's Dead Winter Carpenters. Dead Winter Carpenters is this version of a song that is, I would say, misunderstood. But, I mean, pretty plain forward. Friend of the Devil is a friend of mine. I'm not really sure what he was trying to get across there. That was Robert Hunter's lyric, of course. Catchy little tune, though. Good earworm. And the piano piece you'll hear again a little bit from Holly Bowling. Beautiful. One of my favorite Dead songs of all time, Eyes of the World. And it's all instrumental on piano. It lasts for quite some time. She's quite a hit out in the San Francisco area. Very quickly, you are listening, of course, to Fred the Show. Free radio every day. Freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Cost you nothing to listen, cost you nothing to call. And we'd love to hear from you. Phone lines are now open, 800-8949, 800-8949. This show is brought to you by People's Home Equity. If you are going to be looking for a home, if you are looking for a home, maybe you don't know you're going to be looking for a home. You don't know what life's going to deliver you. Krakatoa could go off again. It could be the New Madrid fault, but you might be looking for a new home, and you got to get the process started. Everybody I know in my peer group is going to have to get a mortgage. I don't know anybody who can just plop down enough cash money to buy a home. So if you need a mortgage, you go to People's Home Equity. Chatmortgage.com, 2 T's, chatmortgage.com, NMLS 66247. Nobody here named Fred, just the name of the show. My name is Jeff Styles, spelled with a Y. And I've been in here searching through my own annals, and yes, I said annals, of videos that I've made and posted on Vimeo.com because that was the higher quality program. And then I guess I hit the limit and they said, you're going to have to start paying us. And I said, screw you, man. I went to YouTube. Now I got two Vimeo channels. I got 2 YouTube channels. I don't know how that happened. I can't find the video I want, which is going to help me get the $100,000 from the Vital Water people. I mean, it's going to help. I'm telling you guys, you don't know. And I got a couple of guys in here right now who are going to help us. Jason, the Argonaut, we also got another person who is going to be a more frequent voice heard around these parts, who's joined us as well. And good morning to you, sir. Introduce everybody, if you would, please.
My name is John Christopher. I am the sports guy, as most people know me. We're gonna be doing a show called The Sports Guys from 7 to 9 on Monday through Friday, and we're looking forward to bringing local, regional, and national sports. And we're looking to give you a fresh start and give you an update on what's going on in the sports world and try to hit everything as we can.
And if you turn around and look at that topographical map that is on the back of that door, I love topo maps, you will realize, of course, we're in an area that is very mountainous and it has lots of creeks and rivers in it and bluffs and all kinds of stuff. So all these sports that I love to do, we will have national, global championships.
Of course.
The bouldering championships, the hang gliding World Cup, and all the rest of the stuff. And it never gets any coverage by the sports, but you're going to do that.
That's correct. If we get information, if there's a world championship in hang gliding, if I can get there, we'll talk about it. Or we'll find the information and tell everybody about rock climbing, whatever.
I'll get you hooked up with a tandem flight.
Hey, I would do it too.
Would you do it?
Heck yeah, I'll do it.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's do it, man.
All right.
I think it'd be awesome. I always wanted to do it. It's on my bucket list.
As long as I can just bring my own rope and make sure.
You don't like that rope and hang gliding. Now, if you want to go bouldering or something like that, you can do whatever you want to do. Lower yourself down into a cave and fall to your death in the murky depths, full of rattlesnakes and muddy water. You can do that. I hate caving.
I like a challenge.
At any rate, I'm very clear before we go to the phone lines. There were a couple of things that I thought were worthy of note that you said sports-wise. One, we talked about the Lightning Bowl, the First Responders Bowl.
Servpro First Responders Bowl. It was canceled due to lightning.
And it was a smart thing to do. I mean, you can't play with that. I mean, it could hit literally an entire side of a stadium.
It could, and it's very dangerous.
Now, did you say, though, where the promoters wasn't wanting to refund the money back?
Oh, yeah. Servpro is not wanting to pay now.
Well, I understand, and that's fine. I won't get into that sticky wicket.
Right.
But I just people, they evacuated Bonnaroo 3 years ago for the first time ever. I mean, evacuated the whole place. They'd go back to your cars. And because, you don't play with lightning. And then also there was another bowl, and it was the Interception Bowl.
It was the Interception Bowl called the Cheez-It Bowl. And Cheez-It sponsored this bowl, and there was 9 interceptions in this game. It was won by TCU.
The Horned Frogs.
The Horned Frogs was won on a field goal and with 3 seconds left.
I mean, what is the quarterback rating? We mentioned that already this morning for that bowl. My God, it can't be too high, I would think. That's rough now.
It is rough. Sometimes, you have those games where quarterbacks are trying to do too much at one time, and the 3 quarterbacks that I saw were doing too much at one time, and they're trying to force passes, which you can't do.
Alabama and Georgia, I think Tua was trying to, force things, and it didn't go very well for him.
No, it didn't. And he's about 80.
Son of a bitch.
He's about 85% ready to go.
Yeah. And now, but the reason you're in today is actually news.
It is newsworthy.
And everybody, hang tight. It has to do with a new law, and new laws go into effect generally July 1st and January 1st, almost always. And this one has to do with medical facilities and the pricing that goes on.
Yeah, starting the first of the year, all hospitals are going to have to post what their prices are for their services, like heart surgeries, whatever. So I was telling you earlier, outside while we were waiting for the start of this, that they're going to have to start be competitive with their prices. If your heart surgery costs you $60,000, Memorial might do it for $58,800. Be like car shopping.
I mean, it's
true though.
That is what I think most of us here at this station, some believe it with more fervor. The ideal, society is a capitalist society, where it's a meritocracy. If you're good at what you do, you get paid a little bit more than the person who sucks at what you do. And that's the way it works. But also, competitive pricing. And that is one of those things. I will never, ever say anything negative. I had gone 56 years without ever spending a night in a hospital until I broke my leg. And then I got the A team at Erlanger and I had 4 surgeries, 5. And I felt like I was treated as well as possible, but still, those prices, you don't know when they bring in a little bitty Dixie cup and it's got 1 pill in it and you take it, you have no idea what you're paying for that.
Exactly. And my mother just had knee surgery and she got a crisp bill of $100,000 just for one knee surgery. And then insurance negotiated down to like $70,000, but still, if she could know online now that they're going to charge you $100,000 to do this, it might persuade her or her insurance company to go to a different hospital that does the same thing.
And I don't know of a hospital that specializes in the knees.
But I was just using that as an example.
I was going to say we're the knee specialists. But I was saying, literally, I got a phone call finally one day. I said, I know my bill has got to be pushing toward $1 million. And they call me up and they go, please quit saying that, because it's not even close. But I'm guesstimating. After all the surgeries and the stuff that we were doing, I went into hyperbaric chambers. Do you know have those in Erlanger?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do. They sure do. They have 3 hyperbaric chambers for dealing with people who have the bends. And you don't think about a landlocked state, but think about all the water we got around here and all the people who are underwater welding, and they fly in from some other place and they go down and they spend way too many hours underwater and they get back in the plane and they take off and they go, what? I got an embolism. And they got the bends and they got to go put them down and they got to sink them back down to 70 feet again.
Yeah.
And so they're there and it's an oxygen rich environment. You basically take an oxygen bath. And for my wound that I had in my leg, that was one of the things the doctor said that you need to do. And you have no idea. I didn't even know that it existed. Nicest people in the world. I could actually watch movies, from the inside the chamber while I laid there and stuff like this. But you don't know what you're paying. You have no idea until you get the bill.
Mm-mm. So after the first of the year, you're going to know exactly what you're paying because the hospitals across America are going to have to post their prices. And I don't feel like it's going to be right off the rip. But it'll probably take them 6 months to get all that available. But that law does go into effect the first of this year.
My entire life, I've had so many calls for me to get penile reduction, and I guess I'm going to finally have to do that at some point.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to be able to do some comparison shopping.
Right.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
I said it, not necessarily a family show. Fred, the show.
Every day.
As far as I'm concerned, this is a midday show at this point. This is my world. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for letting me on your show.
And these guys are helping me get the $100,000 from the Vital Water people. I'm going to give up my smartphone, and they have no idea how easy it will be for me to do.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. And we'll go to the phone lines. If there's folks still here, Matthew, good morning to you. Matthew, there?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up?
Sorry, I'm driving a big truck in Effingham, Illinois. I'm listening on the internet in case you didn't figure that out.
Yeah, I don't think our signal is quite that big. Yes.
Well, I'll let you know when it is. I just wanted to say, Jeff, when I saw you were coming back on the air, my heart skipped a beat. You've been part of my listening life for so long, and I'm just going to say, you being back on the air, all is well with the world.
Well, that's a wonderful thing to say. That makes me feel fantastic. And trust me, I had a full-on thrombosis. Hey, a job, a paycheck. This is going to be good. I've been 6 months of just laying around the house. I can deal with no work, but no pay. That's a totally different situation.
It really does rock your world. It hadn't been that long, but in 2002 or 08, I took a 2-month spell where I went from, over 50 a year to zero real fast. And it realigns how you think about money. I'll tell you that.
It realigns how you think about a lot of things. I mean, it's I'm telling you, from Thanksgiving on, I have been remarkably grateful. And if I wasn't, everybody in my life would be reminding me to be grateful. Everybody, over and over and over again. Trust me.
Well, Jeff, I'm so glad you landed where you are, and I know you're going to have such a huge internet audience besides, along with the signals. But I know on the internet you're going to draw a bigger audience, I think, than you had before, and I'm excited for you. And I just wanted to let you know how much you mean to so many listeners. It was the typical, you don't know what you had until it was gone.
Well, you're saying it from a listener perspective, which I take as the highest praise, but I'm telling you from the delivery point of view, I guarantee that's true. Maybe I was mailing it in just a little bit, and God said, you know what? You need to kind of refocus and try to think about the people out there that you talk to and do something good for them and not talk about penile reduction all the time. So,
well, Jeff, I'll be listening every day, and if I have something important to say, I'll call. If not, just know I'm here.
Man, be careful up there in Illinois. You know how the troopers are up there.
Will do.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
And big old shout out to Warren and Griffin for jumping on board with us and sponsoring the show. Chattanooga phone number 265-HURT. Dalton is 706-529-HURT, and phones are answered 24/7. And basically, they got the hands-free Tennessee, petition thing about not using your phone while you're driving. And again, very easy for me to give them if we can get that done. And you can go to hashtag hands-free Tennessee. They also have this thing until the 31st of this month, the end of this month, where they will match up to $1,000 any donation you make to the Fallen 5 Memorial. This is the new one that the city is doing, and we want to support that 100%.
I'm the dude, that or his dudeness, Duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7. 3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Investigators say a revolver found at the intersection of Wimberley Street and Bonnie Oaks may be the murder weapon used to kill 20-year-old Kevin Daniel on Christmas Day. A suspect, 28-year-old Gregory Martin, was arrested the day after the slaying, charged with murder. Reports say a fight started at a home that led to the fatal shooting. Another shooting in Chattanooga, this one on Holiday Hill Circle. The call came in around 9 p.m. last night. Reports say the shooter knocked on the door of the home and shot the person who answered. The victim hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. And Chattanooga police were trying to track down a man they say may have info on a local homicide. The CPD posted an image of him from gas station surveillance cams, though no name has been provided he may know about or if he's a suspect. The Sean Hannity Show, weekdays from 3 to 6 on Nuga Radio. Val St. John for Nuga Radio. News Talk 92.7. Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
If your computer is running slow, if you have viruses, if someone called you asking to get into your computer, just say no. If a screen pops up on your computer saying your data is going to be deleted and you have to call this number, don't call it. You need to call Affordable Computers. You wouldn't invite a stranger to come into your house to look at all your books and records, so why would you invite someone to look at your records on your computer? With one wrong click of the mouse, you could be allowing access into your entire system. At Affordable Computers, we can stop them now. Don't be fooled by scammers and pop-ups that tell you must call this number or your hard drive is going to be deleted. You need to call Affordable Computers. Call Affordable Computers now. Microsoft is never going to call you. Microsoft is never going to ask you to call them. If you see that on your screen, you are being scammed. Stop and call Affordable Computers. 423-499-1975. That's 423-499-1975. In Fort Oglethorpe, call 706-858-5888. That's 706-858-5888. Affordable Computers.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! This is your sandwich speaking. Yeah, your sandwich. And you know, you can't find me any place but the Mad Philly Sandwich Shop. Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, just off 153 on Shaliford Road. It's in the Little Plaza. Hey, check out these buns. Yeah, they're Amorosa, all the way from Philly. So bite me. You want a real Philly cheesesteak? Check out my meat. Throw some cheese on it and grilled onions. Oh, yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about. Only at the Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, where you'll always get the real taste of a Philadelphia cheesesteak. Plus hoagies, burgers, sandwiches, salads, fresh cut fries, tater tots, and other stuff. Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, just off 153 on Shaliford Road, right across from Mountain View Service Center. It's in the Little Plaza. Hey, come on, we're waiting for you here. So just shut up and eat it.
Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. That smells like pure gasoline.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Beautiful piece of piano work. Here's Holly Bowling, and classically trained pianist who is also a deadhead and does piano interpretations, totally instrumental, by herself of some of their best pieces of music. This is one of my favorite songs they ever did, The Grateful Dead, Eyes of the World. And Holly actually explains at the beginning of this, which of course we cut out because it would be boring for her talking. But I mean, she does the song, but then she actually picks up a show in like 1974 in Louisville, which of course Deadheads are famous for doing. The first man that said, yeah, tape as much as you want to, videotape, film, just steal our stuff as long as you spread it. It's the exact opposite of Metallica. I mean, there could have been a 12-round Texas chainsaw death match between the Dead and Metallica about how to approach, getting the music out there. And the most successful touring band of all time, I would say that they would win. Even though James Hetfield would probably knock them out on your head. Easily. I would think.
I wouldn't go toe-to-toe with it.
Yeah. And it's just good stuff. Now, all right. We have spoken this morning about many things going on in our neck of the woods. There are just some straight up news stories are not easy for talk radio. I mean, what are you going to say? But we had a very violent 4-day period over the course of the Christmas break. Christmas Day itself, we had a shooting, 20 years old. And I'll say this. I mean, when I was 19, I remember sitting around the campfire with my friends and saying that I felt like I'd had a full life. And God could take me right then and I wouldn't regret anything.
At 10?
19.
19, okay.
But I meant that. But think of all the things I would have missed. And 20 years old, Kevin Daniel shot multiple times outside of his home, Wimberley Drive. In the middle of the day, 3:00 on Tuesday, middle of the day. And a 28-year-old guy is in custody, found in College Hill courts, arrested, charged with criminal homicide. And that's just one of, I I don't know how many we had, but it was a rough weekend. It's a violent world out there. Yeah, it truly is.
It is. And if we were listening this morning to Russ and Val do the news, and they even found a gun at that intersection of Jersey and that area too, and they think it may be associated with that crime.
We had, as far as this kind of news, I guess, as opposed to controversial topics that we could really sink our teeth into. If you want to sink your teeth into something, feel free. 800-8949, 800-8949, NugaRadio.com. We Facebook Live. But remember, if you're watching on Facebook, you're listening to radio. You're listening to the radio. Nuga Radio, Fred the Show. Just want to make sure everybody understands that. We also had a house fire that killed the twin brothers yesterday. Again, about the same time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe a little bit before, down in Rossville and Dry Valley Road. And the 911 call. There were 3 people inside the house, and 1 got out, and the twin brothers did not. And they were adults. But, wow. That's just, I hope to God that you, Jason, that nobody out there listening ever has to go through anything like that.
Yeah. And I was also reading last night on that particular area, Dry Valley Road. That's not the first fatal fire in that area this year. I think there's been 3 in that particular area this year alone.
I get the inclination that we do have a few firebugs out there in our nation right now. We have synagogues and other, places of worship being attacked through fire. We had a number of arsons in the southeast. Another grouping up in the northeast. I think they had like 7 or 8 places of worship, and then they didn't really seem to tie together all that well. I mean, folks can be nuts. I mean, it's they get bad chemicals, and parents can join, and they could produce an Einstein, or they could produce a madman, and that's one of those things that made arson is one of the strangest, really, serial crimes of all. People who just, they would call them back in the old day a firebug, but that's an awfully kind little, label to put on somebody who's willing to take somebody's life. But you know what? They tend to stick around and watch their work. Mm-hmm. Police are trained, if it looks like arson, look at the crowd that's watching it. They want to see. And I have been, if you go to my podcast that I do, and this is Fred the Show, and it's fredpodcast.com. The most recent one is about Christmas magic, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Got a lot of feedback on it from a lot of different people. And, coming close to a death by fire, I've come close to death by drowning more than a few times. Death by gunshot a couple of times, all kinds of deaths, car crashes. I can't tell you how many car crashes I've been in, driving or just passenger. I just lucky. And but fire, that's not a way to go. No, not a way to go at all. The government shutdown, we said we would touch on it, and it's a battle of wills versus POTUS and the Democratic controlled House still. And the Senate may have gained a couple of red members, but it's loggerheads right now. And it's all about the wall. And I'm not a fan of the wall. I think the wall is a ridiculously stupid idea. And I know that there are other hosts here who think it's just absolutely brilliant and something that's got to be done. We're talking about $6 billion. $6 billion. I
think it's 5.
5. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's discuss. You start talking about real money at some point, and whatever it is, it's just doomed. And Trump now, it's the hard right, the neocons, and the hard right. It's the Rush Limbaughs of the world that are saying you have got to stand your ground, and so they're standing their grounds. There's a government shutdown. So how many people are out of work today? I think we all agree our government's too big, it's too powerful, it's too controlling, it is too whimsical,
It has all kinds of problems and issues, but taking real, honest to goodness people that you know, that you would recognize, that you would feel comfortable in their skin, or having them in your home, and they're, some of them are considered to be essential. They're having to show up and work for free. And the things that go first, we talked about this last week. The park system is the lowest hanging fruit available.
Mm-hmm.
Lowest hanging fruit available. At any given time when you start talking about government shutdowns, AT will stay open, but you're on your own. Good luck. Most people, unless they've done it before, any newbies on the trail, especially if they're actually attempting a through hike, they're going to need some assistance at some point, and they're not going to get any. The shelters are going to be shut down. Big South Fork is open. You want to go up there and wander around. Chickamauga, Chattanooga National Military Park, open if you just want to move through. Restroom facilities and the big, display that they've got down there with the multi-surround sound system and all that stuff is shut down. Fort Donaldson, Smoky Mountains National Park, the roads are open, but that's it. The trails are closed. Now, I don't know who's monitoring. If there's nobody working, who's monitoring a trail? If I want to go up and climb the chimneys, who's going to stop me from doing it?
Nobody there.
No, my knee would stop me from doing it. That's what the only thing that would stop me from doing it. But I've said that the roads are open, but there's not going to be anything else that is.
I guess the only thing that would get you, in trouble was if you had to have assistance.
Well,
and they had to come get you.
There ain't nobody who climbs up to the chimneys that doesn't need a little bit of assistance and nothing but just a little swallow of water every once in a while. I'm telling you, they changed that trail a few years back. It used to be a 3-mile hike to the top of what they call the chimneys. That's where the big fire started, by the way. A couple of young guys who weren't trying to cause any trouble. They actually just had started a campfire, but they were up on top. It was very dry, and that's the thing that ate Gatlinburg alive and caused many deaths. It is a remarkable place. It's beautiful, and it is a very strenuous hike, and they shortened it to 2 miles. And I went up, I guess, about 3 years ago on my own. I had a week's worth of vacation I had to burn, and it was about this time. It was between Christmas and New Year's, and I just went up by myself and had a friend that had a place up there, and it rained and rained and rained. And everybody I talked to in Gatlinburg was so apologetic. I wish we were getting better weather. I said, no, that's fine. Sleep is good. Sleep is good. But I scrambled to the top on that new 2-mile trail. And there was this old dude. He had his walking stick, and he was just leaned up against a big old stump. And this is about halfway up. And I was thinking, I don't know if I got this in me anymore. Come on. This is before I broke my leg or anything like that. I was in pretty darn good shape for a person my age. And he goes, those mountain miles stretch out, don't they? Those mountain miles kind of get along, don't they?
Did his lips come together when he talked?
It was like clutch cargo. The lips together. And yes, they do, sir. And you get to the top and you go scrambling. You run out of trail, and then you start climbing roots. And it looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. So that these roots are just intertwined, or some sort of set piece from Alien, where they had the biological construction of the ship and all that stuff. And you're climbing, you're clambering, you're clambering, you're clambering, clambering, clambering. I've had vertigo 2 times in my life. Once was at the Grand Canyon, simply because it was 3 miles from the top to the bottom, and I just wasn't really prepared for anything like that, a precipice like that. And my friend, who has no fear, goes out there and puts all 10 toes of his bare feet over the edge and just looks over and leans over and goes, "God, man, come look at this." And I'm like sneaking out there. I'm getting lower and lower and grabbing him by the belt. I was like, "Come on back." But the other time was, so I got to the top of the chimneys and I just stood up and I went, whoop. I dropped right back down to my knees. I went, whoa, that was weird. Really, you literally do the spiral thing, And I thought, what happened? Was there an earthquake? And I stood up and it was okay, but just immediately. But all these parks are shut down.
There's a correction though on the the Gatlinburg. The trails are actually open, just the shelters are closed.
Oh, really? All right. Well, I'm looking at bad information then. And this is, they have to do this on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
They have to do this on the fly. So I'm looking at a list right here. And so there's already been some changes. No NPS provided visitor services at Stones River battlefield. That's one that is very often overlooked, a huge Civil War battlefield. And it's just a mess. And it's just, again, it's just a standoff, a stare down for what it's worth. I know it's the big story of the day, I guess, up in D.C. And it's better than some we've had. But I mean, you stand your ground, and I know there are folks who just absolutely are just tickled to death at the idea of a government shutdown because it just teaches us we don't have to have it. We do have to have a government. It just doesn't have to be this non-functional or somewhat ineffective. But I'm not sure that this sort of thing over a personal windmill. That's what it seems like. It seems like Don Quixote tilting at a windmill.
We're going to open up a black market lemonade stand.
They're at the border. 31-foot ladders for sale.
I'm the dude. You know, that or his dudeness, Duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Cougar Radio 92.7. 3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Twin brothers perished in a house fire. Walker County Coroner Dwayne Wilson confirmed the 24-year-olds were found inside the smoldering home yesterday afternoon on Dry Valley Road. Walker County spokesman Joe Legge told the press that the house was already 30% consumed when firefighters arrived on scene. Cause of the fire under investigation. Chattanooga police are trying to track down a man they say may have info on a local homicide. The Chattanooga Police Department posted a picture of him from a gas station surveillance camera. No name was provided, but they say he may know about a local murder. Investigators say a revolver found at the intersection of Wimberley Street and Bonnie Oaks may be the murder weapon used to kill 20-year-old Kevin Daniel on Christmas Day. A suspect, 28-year-old Gregory Martin, was arrested the day after the slaying. Police say it may have been a drive-by after a domestic argument. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
The rumors are true. We've opened a Starbucks at 10 North, 20 Cherokee Boulevard on the North Shore. And we're more than just what we brew. We're your new North Shore neighborhood living room, a gathering place, a part of your daily routine. With a warm atmosphere, a spacious patio, convenient complimentary parking, and a full Starbucks food and beverage menu, including the new Nitro Cold Brew. We're a coffee experience, and we make sure everything we do is through the lens of community and contributing value to our vibrant neighborhood. Open daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. We look forward to serving you. Starbucks North Shore, inspiring and nurturing the human spirit. One person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. Locally owned and operated by Vision Hospitality Group.
Oh, it can happen to anyone. Flat tire, overheated engine, or just a clackety-clackin'. Now you're on the side of the road. No worries, because Doug Yates Towing and Recovery is there 24 hours a day for you. That's right, 24-hour-a-day emergency roadside assistance. And you don't have to accept who your insurance company or your road assistance provider sends you. At Doug Yates Towing and Recovery, we want you off the road as safely and soon as possible. So they'll be there in a jiffy. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery with 24-hour emergency roadside service. Call 800-407-2371. That's 800-407-2371. Online, yateswrecker.com. That's yateswrecker.com. On Facebook at Doug Yates Towing and Recovery, LLC. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery. We don't want your arms and legs, just your toes. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery is a Nooga Radio 92.7 First Responder Friday sponsor. To our first responders, Doug Yates Towing and Recovery says thank you.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Whatever We Have in Stock Are Us, your one-stop place to shop for whatever we happen to have lying around at the time.
It must be true, 'cause I heard it on the radio. It must be true, it must be true.
Once again, anybody who ever has a suggestion for some bumper music, feel free to get in touch with us. You can call us on the air, 800-8949, 800-8949. I didn't say that correctly. NugaRadio.com. We YouTube. We have apps. We got crap loads of apps. We do Facebook Live for both the hours that I'm here. I think pretty much anytime the mic's open.
Anytime.
This is Anders Osborne, who is one of those artists that he speaks to a lot of people. Like for me, John Prine or Tom Waits. Not for everybody, but some people just dial into it and they just love this guy. But it's Luther Dickinson of the North Mississippi All-Stars on the guitar. And we're doing one of the prettiest songs that the Grateful Dead ever did. I just decided to do a bunch of Dead covers this morning because we're approaching New Year's. And keep in mind, the Grateful Dead, whatever you think about them, if you've never really listened, you probably don't know all that much about them. If you've never seen them play live, then you don't understand at all. There are three things in life that you have to see live to understand its popularity: the Grateful Dead, NASCAR, and hockey.
I've done two of those.
Well, it just you don't understand. All right, drive fast, turn left, drive fast, turn left. And then I went to Talladega. Wow, that's a trip. And the Kentucky Derby, I understood the Kentucky Derby just going. I've been just saying the party was amazing. But hockey is another one of those things most people don't understand the general rules, and it kind of bores them. And they've tried so many different ways to make it work, with the little tracer on the puck and go live.
Yes.
And
if you've never been to a live hockey game,
no, you have no idea. You don't understand why people are so freaked out about it.
Look on the Predators website, find the tickets, and go.
Luther Dickinson and Anders Osborne. It's a whole series called Songs of Their Own, and they got I don't know how many, just dozens and dozens of different artists who do Dead music, and the Dead were during the entirety of the '60s. They didn't write protest songs. They didn't go to protest concerts. They just kept boogieing. And I was a fan before I ever saw them live. Once I saw them live and I saw the energy that was there and some of the coolest bumper stickers ever. Mean People Suck. That was one of those that just jumped right off at me, And that was one. Save the Planet. We Need a Place to Boogie. That was another one. And the one that we could all agree on. All right. How much did David tell us tonight? How much do you think that we actually would have in common politically?
A few things.
A couple. A few. And throw our operator Joe Manager Saab in there. Oh, well. Throw Marie in there. And throw the rest of the people here. And so what could we agree on? I would say that there is one bumper sticker I saw for sale, and I got it, and it went onto a car that no longer exists. And it said, "I love my country, but I fear my government."
There you go.
There's boom.
There you go.
Fist in the air, everybody. Fist in the air. Power to the people. Yeah, I love my country, but I fear my government. That's something everybody agrees. Excuse me. Fred the Show, brought to you by People's Home Equity. And fists in the air for those folks, too, doing mortgages all day long, every day. I mean, this is what they enjoy doing. It's a masochistic sort of pursuit, in my opinion, but thank God there's people out there like that. There are people who actually love working with numbers, and they love getting people in homes. People's Home Equity, your local mortgage professionals. Chatmortgage.com. Chat with 2 T's, mortgage.com. NMLS 66247. Thank you very much. Now, we have a little bit of a change up today. We normally have, of course, Donna coming in, Donna Christian Lowe, but on Thursdays, we do something different.
Yes.
Ron and Christy Adams.
That's correct.
So they have their own take on the local financial and housing scene.
Yeah. One family, it's that time of year.
It is, actually.
Yeah, Ron and Christy are here in a little bit. One Family Radio, One Family Financial. Great bunch of people. Great bunch of people.
Any questions you have, just give them a call, 800-8949, and just be prepared for an answer. Kind of launched something today after the holiday. I'm going to continue to cough. because I got something. It's not strep. I don't think it's catching. There's something in my hometown that actually I have an allergic reaction to it. I have to stay there for a couple of days for it to kick in. And when I lived in Ohio and would just come down to where I would say it was my familial hometown, little bitty town down in West Georgia, dangerously close to Alabama. I would always have these allergic reactions, and we never really figured out what it was. I went to, allergists and got tested, got all the shots up and down my arm. I mean, oh God, how many are there? If you've ever done that,
it's no fun.
I mean, it's not any fun, but I mean, you need, and the only thing they come up with was cat dander, cat hair, and house dust. And my family's homes are much cleaner than mine. But there's something down there that exists that does not exist up here. When you get those burpee seed, things, and they'll show you the planting times for everything. There's just the 1 or 2 degrees over the course of a year makes a difference in what grows somewhere and what doesn't.
Well, you know what you're talking about makes sense to me. My wife's family is from South Georgia. And I'll go down there and then I'll come back and the next morning I'll wake up and my tonsils are swollen. The back of the uvula is hanging down, ready to be swallowed.
Spanish moss, magnolia.
It's got to be one of those.
Mimosa. I mean, yeah, one of those things that just doesn't seem to thrive up here. I was looking too also, when we did move to the South, and I went from this Spielbergian neighborhood outside of Dayton. It was a Dayton suburb, town called Fairborn, where Wright-Patterson Air Force Base was. And every third house was exactly the same model. And it was a good childhood, but we moved to the South when I was a freshman in high school, and I moved into this huge, big Southern Gothic mansion by myself for quite some time because my family stayed there to sell the house. And it had these massive pecan trees out in the yards. And there is, other than a live oak, and you do have to go south of here to get to live oaks. They will not take to this soil and this weather. It's not, you can do all you want to do, but pecan trees, the best climbing trees in the world.
Yep.
I mean, just like climbing a ladder, literally a 31-foot Mexican ladder. It just goes as high as you want to go. And there's a big story in today's papers, my friend, it's making news that the prices of pecans are dropping. They're plummeting for several reasons. One is the Chinese reaction to the president's, tariffs. I wouldn't get into a financial chess game with the Chinese without really thinking hard about it. I'm not sure how hard we really thought about it. I know that they were ripping us off. I agree that they were doing some unfair things, and we probably had to answer that challenge. But, slapping tariffs, I mean, it has hurt much of what I would have assumed would have been the president's base. I mean, he went and did that one, press conference at that auto plant up where our caller just called from, just too long ago, from Illinois, and it's closed now.
Yeah.
And the pecan growers, they no longer can sell in Chinese markets. And the Chinese people love putting nuts in things that don't even belong. There shouldn't be no nuts in a salad. If you eat a salad, it should have lettuce, tomato, onion, and dressing.
No cheese?
You might maybe a little cheese, but there shouldn't be anything crunchy like a pecan or a walnut and no mandarin slices.
No avocado.
No surprise. Avocado's okay. It mixes in, but no surprise crunch or sweetness. I just doesn't make any sense. But they love a bunch of nuts. They throw nuts in everything. And of course, we also had how many hurricanes have swept over Georgia in the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. You always see, of course, the damage that's done on the coast, but inland, they don't go away.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, this storm we're talking about coming in today and tomorrow is major. And I don't know, I don't want to create a bunch of concern, but it's going to dump a ton of rain on us.
Yeah,
and the winds are going to be very high, and we're looking at trees that we're already weakened by a couple of years of drought and then another year of stormage and lots of rain. And there's probably going to be some obstacles out there in your world. I mean, starting late this afternoon and especially through tomorrow morning to the commute.
The Weather Service is actually going to put us under a flash flood watch at 7 o'clock tonight. So it's going to be in effect until 1 o'clock to the 28th. And
well, when I come in, I drive over the North Chickamauga Creek. And during the summer, I mean, when most people go to visit the North Chick, I mean, you can actually see no water, none when you drive over it. But if you go up to the Pocket Wilderness, there's plenty of water flowing and there's plenty of deep holes and places you can jump in. If you actually see white water going under the bridge, I mean, like kayaking style white water, which is where it is now, that's a ton of water.
Yep.
That means you get up near where I live to our swimming holes, you can't even approach them. You can't even get close to them. You just have to stand back and look. You do not want to get in. Temperature and no temperature wouldn't make any difference. It's swept downstream. I mean, it's a bunch of water. So if we're already looking at that, then if we get another,
they're saying that another 2 to 3 inches from the National Weather Service.
That's a lot of water. That's a ton of water. And think of all the places we got that are clear cut around here that have recently been kind of mowed down and lost all that footing.
And even Saudi's still rebuilding from the flood that they had. So.
Yeah. I'd mentioned earlier, and I'll be very quick about this, the video of the day is the thing that we introduced today. And one, I'll try to do it every day. It will just be a fun little video, something to amuse you. The other one will be a news-oriented video. And the one that we have today is about 15 minutes long. And if you have the patience and the time to stick with it, you probably should, just so you can see the power of what nature can do. And it's the tsunami in Indonesia, and it is awesome. And I don't mean that in a good way. Awesome. I mean that in a horrific way.
No, and we were watching it before we did the 8 o'clock hour, and goodness gracious, the power of water.
I mean, what are you going to do with that big wave? You're not going to do anything except get out of the way if you're lucky enough. And I just said I was going to be critical of the Times Free Press, only in the sense they used to do the Christmas story in the editorial page of the Free Press, and they would do essentially the Gospels, and they would take a day or so to do it around Christmas, but then around Easter they'd actually do the entire thing, the whole Passion. And it has now become, I can't help but notice, an insert. It's still the Christmas story, Chattanooga Times Free Press Christmas story, but it's an insert and it's loaded with advertising. Instead of just having it, written by, Roy McDonald or Lee Anderson back in the day, and just laying it out, is now an advertising vehicle, which just makes me sort of sad. I'm glad they still do it. Most papers probably wouldn't, but it's not that critical, I don't guess. Warren Griffin, thank you very much. Personal injury attorneys, 2 locations, Chattanooga and Dalton, warrenandgriffin.com. Go check it out on Facebook. No fees will be paid until they win your case. Give them a holler and tell them I sent you. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. NugaRadio.com for the first unnamed hour, and then for the show, which is this hour.
I'm the dude, that or his dudeness, duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Are you looking to buy a home? You go online and search, or you ride through the areas you want to move to, looking for time stands still when you see it. That home. But you spend all that time. You build up all that excitement to find out that you only qualify for... Maybe you have a few things on your credit that keeps you from... things that you could take care of. You know what you should do. Call the mortgage professionals at People's Home Equity. They specialize in... They help home buyers